people. I'm, oh, I need to put the camera on, don't I? I'm just making some eggs and bacon before we start. Because you can't compiler program when you're starving. It's not the best way to program compiler. Piece of broken code. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly piece of broken code. It's that I decided to change some stuff about the identifier lookup semantics. And because it's complicated, I just need to change some things, that's all. I hope it's not too hard to figure out. Hope it's not hard to figure out. Can I cook reasonably well? I can cook eggs in a pan and bacon pretty well. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon, yes. As spoken by, what's that actor's name? How does my defer macro work? It works by deferring the statement until the end of the scope. Okay, we've got to wait for the bacon to cook now. Because most of my stuff is still in Florida, I only have one pan, so I have to cook the eggs and then the bacon. Michael Madsen, yes. Yes, it is Michael Madsen who says wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon. Okay, Really, I want to look at this call here. So we're going to wind this back up while I go wakey wakey eggs and bakey. Can't believe I forgot Michael Madsen's name. Dude, next thing you know, I'm going to forget Virginia Madsen's name. Regrets not asking me to try project-wide search. Well, I could try that at some point. Boy, it sure takes a long time to cook bacon on this crappy induction stove. Wait, why didn't we hit the thing? Did I not restart? Oh wait, no, we did. Wait, no, we didn't. What? What? Did I not restart? Oh, it's got a different... Oh, no, it's different. Okay. This might be because there's legit different identifiers, or it might be... Alright, we'll see. This might be annoying. This might be annoying. Sorry, I don't put up with language like that. It's just incredibly offensive to say something like that. Don't come here and do that. How do you start writing a compiler? Well, it's really not that different from a lot of other programs in the start. Okay, I think we got it. I changed what it's called. I think it's name Atom. Source integer, that's the right one. Okay. So we're going to step this a little bit. I mean, going through a bunch of empty scopes for some reason. Aha. I mean, I feel like we already passed the place. Yeah, I think I know what's going on. Finally, the eggs are ready. So the deal is, while looking for an identifier, we are transiting I'll show you the line of code that this actually is in. It is this line of code. This is actually the body of a procedure that's implicit, which, by the way, maybe we'll optimize that out tonight. Have I ever taken the SAT? Yes, but back in those days, it was a different SAT. I think it's 2,400 points now because people want to feel better about themselves and have more points. Back then it was a 1,600 point maximum or something. What year did I take it? 1989. What did I score? I don't want to answer that because it's a weird question, but the answer is pretty okay. But I didn't really understand back then that test prep was a thing. So all the other smart kids at my high school did test prep and scored a little higher. Kind of like asking, what's your IQ? Yeah, I mean, and I don't necessarily mind answering questions like that, but it's just, sometimes questions are weird because you can tell when they're being asked there might be some weird motivation behind it. And those are those kind of questions generally, right? I definitely scored higher on math than the verbal section. Do me and the architects who help with the witness still hang out? No, not really. No. No, that's not how it is. When I was in China, I did hang out with a couple architects, and they were cool. And one of them gave me a gift of like a book of his designs. That was neat, but like I don't live in China, right? So. Older versions of the SAT correlated very highly with IQ. I don't know. I'll tell you, I mean, I don't know what the correlation is supposed to be, but I'll tell you, and it's not like I've ever taken like really good IQ tests or whatever, but I score higher on IQ tests than I scored on the SAT. I'll put it that way. Although I haven't taken an IQ test since like probably literally 1990. So the last IQ test I took, get ready to laugh. I don't know if they still do this, okay? But at UC Berkeley, it may still be there, but at UC Berkeley, there's sort of the side way that you go out the campus. You go out west side and you go to the BART station, which is still, because the Bay Area both believes that public transit is the only true thing and also sucks at funding any infrastructure project, still the same fucking way that you get there as it was in 1989. And like the Church of Scientology had rented like an office right by the BART station to get the foot traffic. And they had a big sign like, come take a free IQ test. And I was like, okay, I guess. Because I didn't, and so I took their test. And I did not get recruited into Scientology, thankfully. Scientology. I also did take the Mensa test because I was bored one time and wanted to do it. But they don't tell you your score from that one. They just let you in or don't. Why not tell your score? Is it because it would cause elitism within Mensa? I don't know. I never went to a single Mensa event. Actually, that's probably not true. I think I kind of went to one and bailed on it. Yeah, I kind of went to one and bailed on it. Can't think of anything worse than an IQ test at a Scientology center. Yeah. I mean, it's weird that they didn't. This is interesting because I always just thought of it as IQ test is a random way to get people to come in at a university. But yeah, maybe they don't try to recruit you if you score too high. But that's weird because you would think that the people who would want to take an IQ test just off the street are people who think they're kind of smart, right, and want validation of it. Like, people who think they're dumb aren't going to be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go take an IQ test, right? But maybe they're looking for the Dunning-Kruger. Maybe they're looking for the people who think they're really smart and aren't smart. I thought the Scientology test was a test for trapped ghosts or something. Huh. That's another interesting, maybe they tell you it's an IQ test, but the problems are secretly also, cause they seemed like regular IQ problems. I don't really remember it, but like they weren't out of the ordinary kind of questions. it is possible they were looking for the smart people that were worth spending loads of money to get. Oh, like, I don't know, like if you have rich parents or something. Maybe, yeah, maybe I was just too poor for them. I was pretty poor at that time. Okay, let's fix this, or at least investigate it. So the deal is, this thing, because it's a run directive like these, this seems weird. I should look at this code. It's like too many runs. But so, you know, this thing gets scheduled independently of the rest of the body of this procedure. And I think what's happening is, you know, normally we're supposed to be looking through this procedure and we're supposed to notice that there's something waiting to insert names into this scope, and that hasn't happened. So here, I'm going to run it again. I'm going to hope we get the same number. Maybe I should have not done it this way, but you know, so the problem is, if this procedure body hasn't started getting built at all, and we need that to have happened, then obviously it's bad news bears. However, okay, here's what I'm confused about and why I'm speaking sort of slowly. I feel like this assert shouldn't have gone live until after these went live. And when these went live, they should have put inserters into this scope. So the scenario that I am describing should not have happened. But maybe I have a wrong assumption about those, or maybe some things are happening at the wrong time and I should change it. We're just learning about this here. All right, so here we go. We're going to step through again. And we're just going to look at some values. All right, let me give you a little more size. God damn it. Dude, they keep ruining Visual Studio's UI. It's amazing. They just make it worse every time, and they think they're making it better. Okay, imperative. That's probably the body of the... Fuck. See what I mean? It's like they're always just fucking... All right, that's 836. Yeah, so it's the body of the assert. Like, Visual Studio's over, guys, for two reasons. One, it's pretty old, and in the, you know, the way projects go at companies like Microsoft is, first, if it's a good product, like the A team builds it out, some A team is assembled to build it out, like A-level players, and then they pass it off to the B team after it's no longer hot, and B players hire C players, and so on and so on. And like, Visual Studio is like down to the D players at this point. And, okay, that's one. And then two, they did Visual Studio Code, and all the JavaScript kids love that. And so now there's even a competing hot product that sucks relative to this, but has the prestige. So anybody who kind of can program at Microsoft would rather be on Visual Studio Code than Visual Studio. So like, Visual Studio is just over at this point. What do I need Visual Studio for that Emacs can't do? Emacs is not a debugger. We are in the debugger right now. What do I envision people using? Well, someone in the beta community made this brand new editor that we tried out last night. And we're not quite ready to switch to it, but we might switch pretty soon. I think it just needs a little bit more in terms of indentation and stuff, and then we could switch to it. Show it. It's on. You can look at the VODs from yesterday. We had some connection problems, so there's probably like 4 VODs, but you can look at. We did a whole thing. All right, let's try the project wide. Okay, so I remember Alt X, open config for I might have. Okay, hold on. Remember all the bin nibs fun that we were having? So it's still in this old folder, right? So I'm going to cut and paste all this out of old. We've replaced our global config. Hope that's okay. All right. So we're going to run it. I'm going to load switch to project, Sokoban. All right, so now we're going to search. What do we want to search for? Current scope. How do I... Control-Shift-F. Oh, this isn't... Right, that's in the compiler. What do I want to search for in Sokoban? Transaction. Bro! That is about 1,000, 10,000s of times faster than Visual Studio Search. I mean, let's search for something that... We kind of need a scroll bar on this. Oh, there is one. It just was stealth. All right. So let's search for something. Charmer. Oh, I tried to Control-A delete. That's not a thing. Maybe I messed that up Editing configs. There we go. So there's only one. Like, that's pretty good, guys. Do you want better search than that? Compare that to the Windows frickin' Explorer search that takes 45 seconds and then tells you it didn't find anything. Like, this is a real-time search. I don't think it builds an index. Like, guys, this is how fast computers are, though. This is what I'm always trying to say, right? A lot of hits for Entity Manager. Can I like click on one of these? Yeah, see that? That's a good editor. Okay, for some reason we don't have, oh, because it's got a hash on it in that one. Let's go to one that doesn't have a hash there. Yeah. Like, that's how fast your computer should be, guys. If your computer is not that fast at these tasks, the software is bad. That just is what it is. Anyway, we might switch to that editor. We just need it to mature a little bit more. Okay, let's go back to this. So this is in the arguments block of the procedure. Maybe there's a constants block. Yeah, so this is going to be empty. Now we're in the imperative scope of the parent procedure. Now, oh, really? Oh, that's the header. Yeah, so the body is in the infer pipe. But yeah, literally nothing's been inferred yet. So yes. That's fine. Except it's not fine, of course, but we could fix this. So going back here, so this is a different procedure, right? And in fact, it's a procedure inserted by see, I think we might still be making this in the parser, which, to be honest, we shouldn't do for assert directives. Because like I said, so this assert directive shouldn't even be a procedure. This is a constant expression, right? We don't know it's a constant expression, but I think for assert directives, see, right now an assert is a run directive secretly, but like it's expensive to do bytecode execution for every assert. And so I think we do have an early out, but the thing is, we still do go through all the other rigmarole of a run, like making a procedure and blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure we have an early out. We might not. Maybe that's only for static if. Anyway, what we should do, I think many asserts are constant, or no, they're all going to be constant expressions. Mostly. Why is this a run directive? Like the way it's used, I don't know why I made this secretly a run directive behind the scenes. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I am dumb. Maybe I did this as one of the first things in the compiler and I didn't understand how things were going to go. And now that they've gone the way they're going to go, it's like, oh, actually. Because there's no reason, like the only reason to use a static assert is for constant expressions. Because you can always just say run assert if you want a dynamic expression anyway. Okay. Okay. See, this is one of those things where I kind of want to go work on assert directives, but I don't want to do that right now because I want to fix this. I want to finish this change. So, the thing is, the way in my mind that this compiler should work in 2023 is when we do a go live on this function, which happens after it's polymorphed, by the way, because of these $signs. That's when we set this assert up to compile. But that's also when we should add these inserters here that say, okay, the whole piece of background that I should tell people that they don't understand. When you have a declaration like this with multiple things on the left, we desugar that into 3 separate declarations of each of these identifiers. All right? So this is a thing called a compound declaration, and we desugar it into things that are just declarations. Okay. That happens when this goes into type checking. And because this is scheduled sort of asynchronously to that, it's looking, and this hasn't happened yet, but it should have happened. That's the whole thing. So, here's what we do. Let's go way up here. We're going to see when this gets queued. I think it should happen from BLive. Let me just double check. Body. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. That might still be even one level of indirection from what we want, but it's okay. I already told you, and I don't want to answer the question. Also, if you're going to project IQs, projecting IQs from SATs is weird. Why do you want to know my IQ? And also my SAT is low compared to my IQ. So I'll tell you that. So like, there's so many reasons this is creepy and bad that I don't want to answer the question. So many reasons it's creepy and bad. I have a problem, guys. Because I want some ice cream. I also want a chai latte. I can't have both of those at once. Because that's just an extreme overload. Pour chai into ice cream and make chai float. That's going to melt the ice cream so fast. It's going to melt the ice cream so fast. Sun chips. I can't eat sun chips anymore. Guys, almost every snack that I got in the habit of eating during COVID, especially in Florida, it's all full of seed oils, dude. Sun chips are seed oil central, and that's why I was getting so goddamn fat all the time, I think. Every single thing that I liked. The Lindt dark chocolate ball truffles, full of fucking seed oils. What were my other fun things? Seaweed snacks, covered in seed oils. What else? I've got some things that are not. Well, okay. Some things are borderline, okay? So, for example, I like these Inés Rosales tortas, it's a nice thing covered in cinnamon sugar, and the other one is just olive oil flavor. The problem is the ingredients say extra virgin olive oil, and so I chose to believe and buy it. The problem is apparently when you buy supposedly EVOO off a store shelf now, it's like half seed oil anyway. So I don't know. I don't know if when you look at the ingredients, they're required to say what oil it really is. Like, I just don't know. No, the seaweed snacks have seed oil on them. And they're also not good anymore, as Casey will attest. They do have one of the flavors of the seaweed snacks is the olive oil flavor, and that one has olive oil instead of seed oil, but all the rest of them have seed oil. Seaweed snacks. Lake Champlain mint chip. I have not checked the ingredients of those, but almost every chocolate these days contains soy lecithin, which I think is basically just Latin for seed oil. So I don't eat that much chocolate now. Just get ice cream. Well, a lot of ice creams have no seed oils, but some of them do. There was a vanilla flavor, a vanilla ice cream that I wanted to get at Whole Foods yesterday. It had seed oil in it. Fortunately, most vanillas don't, but that one did. Okay, wait. We set the break. All right. We didn't hit our breakpoint is the problem. Like for some reason, we're not coming out deterministic on the numbers, which is annoying. That makes it harder to debug. Is this the same one? Oh, it might be a different polymorph of this, even if it's on the same line. But in principle, if we're no-jobsing, I'll try one more time. But, oh, we're not no-jobsing, guys. That's what happens when I'm on a new laptop. All right, so now the breakpoint's going to be wrong. So it won't fire, but we will then find the right number. Okay, the problem is all of these are wrong now. It looks at your IQ test and it says your seed oil. That's very sad. Strauss brand has none. Okay, that's good. They have Strauss around here. Why not buy a little ice cream maker? I had an ice cream maker. So when I was dating this girl back when I was still in San Francisco, I was like, hey, when I was a kid, we used to have this ice cream maker and we put rock salt in it for some reason to help it get cold. And we'd make ice cream and it was really good. And so we went out and got one and I made ice cream. And then the next day she was like going to the airport and didn't try any. So it was sad. And then I broke up with her. The end. She took the ice cream maker in the divorce. No, I might have brought it to Goodwill or something, but only recently, only a few months ago in Florida. Because it was before I figured out the seed oil thing, and I was like, I don't want to be fat, so I'm not going to eat ice cream. But ice cream's actually good for you. Combining chai and ice cream. All right, let's start with the ice cream, and then we'll see if we can progress to chai. By the way, you would think that all Ben & Jerry's is terrible, and most of it is. But Healthy Oil Respecter has a spreadsheet of seed oil-free ice creams, and Cherry Garcia is one of them. Except the chocolate has soy lecithin, but I think it's in such trace amounts because there's not that much chocolate in here. I don't know. All right, I'm going to let this heat up for a second. I'm actually going to ask Healthy Oil Respecter about soy lecithin because I don't know where. If I could eat soy lecithin, that would be good. Ben & Jerry use guar gum. What is guar gum? Is that like when some guys play heavy metal wearing dinosaur outfits? And it does say guar gum. I don't know what that is. I went to see Guar one time. It was entertaining. Just one time. I also saw Laibach one time. Guar gum aggravates your gut. Well, I've never had a problem going to an ICP concert. I don't know who that is. Okay, so we hit the undeclared identifier. That's fine, right? We step up here. We say, okay, it's a body. This is the new serial, and this one should actually be consistent across runs. I'm actually amazed, given that we weren't running with no jobs, that we got as consistent of debugging as we were. That shocks me. All right, breakpoints. Ben & Jerry's is just annoying. That is true. That is true. I don't deny that. Insane Clown Posse, I see. I've never seen Insane Clown Posse, but I do. A level in the new Sokoban game is called Juggalos, but nobody will know that because we don't draw the names of levels. Matcha chocolate chip. All right. Okay, so this is where this thing goes live. Q or go hot. Infer types. Infer types. Oh, right. Okay. So now we have to walk this back because, like I said, it's a couple levels of indirection. This is the part that decides dead code elimination or not, and it's like, okay. I don't know why we said should Q equals true, and I can't tell because Visual Studio is too stupid to let me inspect the local scope. But, yeah. So what we really want to know now is when does this Q... All right, so we're going to go back to our same breakpoint and change the serial number. Conditions. All right, when did this guy Q? I seem to remember, I have vague memories of Ben & Jerry saying stupid political shit, but I don't remember what it was at this point. Dude, I started going to Chick-fil-A when I was in Florida. That's full of seed oils. Oh, it's terrible. Greta Thunberg. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it started okay. Like, Cherry Garcia was an okay name. I mean, come on. But at some point, it became ridiculous. Basically, anything fried is full of seed oils. Well, Seed Oil Disrespecter said that Five Guys burgers are not cooked in seed oils. So you could get a burger, but if you get fries, those are in peanut oil. Peanut oil is mildly better than other seed oils, but it's really not good. So you should avoid it if you're avoiding seed oils. All oil is bad. Tell that when the Hanukkah people didn't have enough oil. Okay. Undeclared identifier. Okay, we didn't hit our thing. What happened? Okay, so this serial was that. Header S. It's got a different number. Or did I get it wrong? Or did something else weird? Let's just try this strat again. Why do they make the UI so bad? Like, what was that? Like, I literally just don't know what's going to happen in response to a button press. Did that breakpoint even happen? Yes. All right. I'm going to dole myself out some ice cream. Okay, guys, honestly, I tried to take less than everything that was left in the pint of ice cream, and it wanted to all come out. So now it's all here in my mug. Yeah. This creepy dude wants to estimate everybody's IQ from their SAT. Beware. Beware. Okay, now we got it. Lambda has gone live. Flatten. All right. We're still... Here we go. This is the one that we actually want. And you know what? I probably could have traced to this. But here we go. This is the real number. It's on the real number line. All right. The new ATN2 guys. Dude, I watched some random, there's just some 60-second clip on YouTube from me saying something, and I was like, I wonder which one that is. Again, it had an oblique reference to using ATN2 for projection. I literally watched that like an hour ago, right before the stream. ATN2 guy, it was someone in chat. Somebody, like ATN2 was on the screen or something, right? And somebody in chat was like, what's ATN2? What do you use that for? And somebody else in chat says, quite authoritatively, it's used for perspective projection in 3D games. And I was like, no, it's not about projection. And I explained a little bit what it is. And the dude got really mad. He was like, no, it's about projection. And I got into an argument with him. So he was very adamant. Very adamant. And I was a little bit blunt. I did say something like, if that's how poor your understanding is of these things, you should not be trying to explain things to people. Right. These days, I would think 8-2 guy was a Chat GPT, but this was before that. Okay, run has gone live. Common go lives. Flatten. Okay. This is exactly when I think this should happen. We're flattening a block. We're going over all the statements. We do go lives on all the statements. Now, the question is, are we not doing inserter for compound declaration in go live? It looks like we are. So this is a conundrum. It looks like we're doing the right thing, so why doesn't it work? Valve can't count to 8-3. Ice cream sure is good. I hope everybody out there has ice cream. I don't have the Wonka vision where I can put it through the camera. I would if I could. You're lactose intolerant? Well, have one of those Asian ice creams. Have Rice Dream or whatever. I bet Rice Dream has seed oils. Refrozen ice cream, that's a crime against humanity. Okay. So I mean, either this inserter got added and then the inserter was removed and then for some reason we didn't see the name, or the inserter wasn't added yet. Rice stream at karate class, all right. Okay. Now I could start inserting some debug prints because the problem is if this inserter got added and then removed, we might not know. All right. Problem. Since we went no jobs, I don't know the number for the identifier again, so we need to get that back. But let's go back here and trace. Because we can tell by implication whether this happened or not. By looking at, we go back to the block where we should have seen this. Oh, no. I didn't check when the run goes live that it was from the actual outer body of the function, but I'm pretty sure it was. Anyway, if we want to go back there, we could do that. But now I've got brain freeze. Great for debugging. Cowabunga time, maybe. Cowabunga I usually reserve for new functionality. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to jump back to way up here. Boom. We're going to go back in. arguments block, constants block. Okay, now we're in the imperative block, and I can look at actually, just do this. 5 statements. Let's make sure that that jives with our understanding of the code. Not really. Oh, actually maybe, because oh no, because the static if is a statement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so let's check the members. 0. So these have not desugared into individual declarations. If they had, I believe that's the time at which we would have added those to members. So here we have compound declarations. They're not expanded. Have they gone live? Flags, 32. They haven't gone live. What? How is that possible? Okay, that explains why we're having the bug. That's great. This is useful information. Yes, this one also. Oh, this one has flag 0. What? That's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's consistent. I don't know why this one says ask CSA, etc. Flag 0 makes sense. Scottsdale. I think Erin Robinson tried to live in Scottsdale and she hated it. She moved all the way to Europe. That's how bad Scottsdale was. Okay. I'm just going to rerun, and we're going to hit that go live for the run directive. And we're going to step up because the loop that calls that literally should be calling it for those compound declarations. Boy, this is so slow. Okay. Run has gone live. Common go lives flattened. Like I said, we're iterating over the block. Okay. The block containing this run directive is the same one. Well, it's an assert, but it's a run. It's the same one. And in fact, we're going backwards. So these should literally be the next things. All right. So we're just going to return back up. We're going to step, step, step is I2 now. I is 1, oh, 0, 1, right. So it is a compound declaration. So we stack add that, we common go lives it. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Then when is that getting called? Maybe never. Maybe that's just the bug. All right. Now, anytime we fix something like this, why is this in data scope only? I'm fucking stupid sometimes. Yeah, okay. This is all starting to make sense. So this wasn't necessary in imperative scopes because our handling was different. But the whole thing I'm trying to do today is change the identifier handling. Um, all right. So I think I can move this completely. We're going to no check in it to remind us that this was here, but I think I can just move this to common go lives. And we're going to all right, we're going to do that. Just for compound declaration comp if comp has gone live. Okay, so that's the usual hinky thing. All right, we're going to get rid of that. Compound comp. Okay, I usually don't like abbreviations. Why did I literally just delete this? Okay, so block data. All right. Probably didn't name some variables correctly. Scope. That's going to be in closing. And closing. Boy, this really has the potential to rat hole very deeply. Okay, yeah. Attempt to use an imperative statement inside a data scope. What? Who says? Oh, yes. Okay. Good thing we reminded ourselves of this. Because if you make it down to the default case, that's the thing that complains. All right. We're just going to see what fails. Lots of things. Let's just let it run. Come on, bro. All right. Now I believe it was 18 fails before, so we'll see if it's more or less than 18. It's exactly 18. All right. Still the same ones. I would have expected that to at least have changed the situation a little bit. Maybe add inserter like doesn't do imperative scope. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is complicated. I'm glad I thought of looking at that. Otherwise, it could have been a long and lonely road. There's a whole class of things in this compiler about like how do you make sure you don't fucking deadlock on things. And see, I'm realizing now, so we're doing compound declarations in infer, but we probably shouldn't do that. There's no reason. There's no reason to wait that long, and because we're waiting that long is why we need the inserters and stuff. Okay, so kind of what I want to do, this is, see, sometimes you start doing a cleanup and it turns into a little bit of a rabbit hole and some stuff is going fine, but then you're like, I need to do this other thing in order to make my main thing work, right? And if I choose to go off and do that, maybe I revert the main thing or just copy it to a backup and then revert it. And then I go do the orthogonal thing or the semi-orthogonal thing and make that work and check that in because that's good to do either way and then go do the other thing. Right? So if I go look at compound declaration handling, we call check into sugar compound declaration. What do we do here? Well, we pass typer for some reason so that we can get the current queued, but that is something we would have from Go Live, and that's the only reason we use it. Okay. This is all stuff we can do from BeLive. Because we don't need the type of anything. And then we remove the inserter. Yeah. So I'm just going to try doing this. And if it doesn't work out, we'll revert and do only this. Because this... not necessary. We make the expansion be live. And then we literally just set the type to void. So all this okay, we don't do an inserter anymore. We don't do any of this shit. Now, what makes me nervous is maybe this checks if we're queued or whatever. Okay, target scope here we already have. Let's actually put that there. Current is in closing. For someone really obsessed with IQ, that guy didn't seem very smart. I'm just going to put that out there. This. Okay. Check and desugar. Right, we're just going to pass the queued. Oh, wait. We need the interp here. That was the other thing. C++, so you gotta do everything twice. Check and desugar compound declaration. Right, I didn't actually... Void function returning a value. Get current queued. Outer. We got another this. Make scope be live. Make scope be live. Fuck. Why does this need typer? This is annoying. Does anyone else call this? Yes. Okay, so the reason this is annoying is because we do a different thing. You know what? I could do this from type checking. That's fine. I think. if this actually I don't think it does. I'm so lost now. I don't have enough Ben and Jerry's in my brain. Um, why did I want to move it? I wanted to move it because the expansion seems unnecessary. Like it seems unnecessary to have to make an inserter and then remove the inserter. Why didn't that work though? Because it wasn't working. And that prompted me to investigate and say, oh, this isn't working. So why wasn't it working? I might have to go back and watch the VOD. Oh, because add inserter ignores imperative scopes completely. We could have just added the inserter and said, don't ignore imperative scope, please. But then, right, then I was worried about the body of the compound declaration like deadlocking. Okay, so I think this scope has gone live. I'm trying to figure out when do things get added. Like, I need to figure out when declarations get added to the members. All right, add to constants block, no. Scope, add to scope. When does that get called? Add to scope, checked add to scope. Using has gone live. Okay, that's not the right one. Declaration has gone live. Yes. Okay, so that gets added when the declaration goes live. There's just there's an annoying thing about when we go live. Ay, 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 ay. I could just, okay. See, if we're in a data scope, you do a certain thing to just get your stuff going. If you're in an imperative scope, we do a different thing because the way, like there's this whole stack mechanism for how we're inferring stuff. And to set that up, you need the typer, and we didn't have the typer. I could have just done a thing to get it, but that might not scale later when we try to do more sophisticated things, like have multi-threaded type checking. So my inclination is to avoid that kind of stuff. But, and it's a big but, etc. So I need to decide which way to go. I need to know which way to go. It's not obvious. This is one of these things, like identifier lookup in this language is just a little too gnarly. And it's got these complications, and I feel in my heart that it should not be this complicated. And that was what led to this whole thing that I'm doing on this stream. The whole thing that I was doing was trying to do one particular thing in terms of making identifier lookup, I want to say, have higher morale in the sense of like confidence that it's solid and correct in the compiler, right? And it's just that of course broke things. And the things that it broke were all this stuff that kind of works. It's just a really funny thing. At the core of this language are, because we're doing so much in terms of out of order compilation and stuff, there's like some subtle inconsistencies, subtle rules about identifier lookup that nobody ever thinks about, that you wouldn't know needed to exist unless you zoomed way in on the compiler with an electron microscope. And those things are usually fine. It's just, I wish they were simplified. I also wish I could reduce them or get rid of them or something. Anyway, it's all just to say, I really could use some chai latte while I'm thinking about this. Any questions about what's happening? I realize this is like, probably just looks like squirrely compiler code that doesn't mean anything to anyone, but you know, it is what it is. Okay. The frother is frothing. You have a pretty long question about IndieFund application process. Can you email me about it? Probably not. I'll just tell you what the deal is. Like, look, if you have a playable version of your game that is going to communicate to people why it's good, that's all you need for the submission. Okay? If you have ideas or, you know, ChatGPT generated game story or Mid-Journey generated game art, that's not enough. You have to have something that we can play. If you do have that and it's good, then that's good, right? It's pretty simple. There don't need to be long questions. Thank my lucky stars I don't work on a C++ compiler. Oh, I know. I'm very happy I do not work on a C++ compiler. Believe me. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't understand. Here's the thing. If I didn't know that C++ compilers actually exist, I would have bet you that open source people would not have been able to make one, given as complicated as the language is now. I mean, maybe it only happened because it grew organically from a relatively simple language. But like, if you just gave an open source team the C++ spec today and said, make this, I don't think they would be able to, right? They certainly don't seem to be able to make things that are way, way simpler. So I'm just kind of shocked that like GCC exists and works. You know what I mean? What was the reason for changing identifier lookup? I actually explained this for a few minutes in the compiler Q&A VOD. You can go look at that. I was talking about, when we decide to report an undeclared identifier or not. And that just got me thinking about this. And I was like, you know what? Now would be a good time to just attack this problem and clear it off the table. That said, I expected it might be a little bit annoying and difficult because there's just all this, not exactly kind of cruft. Like I have swept out the cruft several times, but it's just complicated and annoying in ways that I didn't wish that it were. And it's hard. It's one of those areas where it's hard to remember all the constraints and visualize them. Which means it's probably more complicated than it should be or needs to be, but I don't exactly know how to simplify it. I need some idea that would enable it to be simplified. Can't wait till my chai's ready. He made a conforming C++ implementation by himself. That's pretty impressive. I mean, anyone who could do that, like, do I have some vacancy on the compiler team? Not currently. We may be hiring for the compiler toward the end of the year. Right now, not yet. Do I have any advice of making a living as a video game entrepreneur in the modern day and age? I mean, you just have to make a really good game. That's still true. That's all. And, even if sometimes it seems like it's hard to get people to give you money for a really good game, sometimes it just works naturally. Sometimes it doesn't. But in the cases where it doesn't, you at least help build a track record and gave some people a reason to know who you are and look forward to your next thing. And you just keep doing that and you build it up. Make a game that makes a lot of money very simple. Yeah, I mean, really. Is Gayman a genius? I don't know. I don't know his SAT score. I didn't get around to asking him the couple times that I was hanging out. Okay. What's the average time to get funding from Indie Fund? I don't know. Probably not that long, because it's basically a mailing list. We mail it around to the mailing list. We say, who likes this? Who wants to put money in? And, we usually give it a few weeks for people to play it and discuss. But like that's about how long the process takes, a few weeks, something like that. The issue is just getting someone's attention who likes your game. That's all. Okay. So, wow, we're still on the first pass of the 2-pass compilation of the frothed milk. I'm gonna put some chai juice in there. Okay, I don't know what to do here, guys. I don't know what is the right course of action because we're off on like a side campaign. We're on the side mission of the main campaign. And the side mission is, do we change the way compound declarations work? Or do we just actually add the inserter? The inserter's making me nervous because inserters are just ways to delay work that needs to get done. So I think I am coming to a conclusion. Oh, but first I'm going to push the froth button a little more. I'm even going to put a little more chai juice. I usually do 2. I did 2 1/3 right there. Bam. Okay. So we're going to go back here. My idea right now, we're going to have to explain in the end why we did it this way. But I'm going to go back here. All right, I'm going to comment this back out. All right. We're going to go back to BeLive. And this is end closing and comp, and this is typer. No check-in. Explain why I did it this way instead of adding an inserter. Typer outer target scope is comp expansion and comp. All right. So here we just need this fucking thing. How is it available typer? Asked. All right. Okay. So I just need this. In that case, maybe we should have passed a typer or null all the way through. These has gone live. Okay. Okay. Well, that's... we're checking the type. Did I miss a reason? Okay, hold on. Nope. Okay, so maybe that's fine. Maybe that's out of date. Still doesn't work. Run return values. Oh no. Now we discover why it was the way it is. Okay. If it was a run directive on the right-hand side. See, this is how programming languages get complicated, right? Is like you say, oh, well, in this case, it's obvious that it should work the following way. And then you do that a bunch of times, and you just have complications, and then it's hard to remember them all. And in fact, though I should have remembered, because this run directive case is exactly the case in the code we're looking at. We're doing this, assigning to run is integer type, okay? This returns 3 values, this binds 3 values. So this desugars into 3 declarations. But you can't do that desugar until the run is done. That's why we can't do it right now in BLive, because the run ain't done in BLive. The run gets scheduled in BLive. Now we could restructure that. This is turning into a very large submission because we could restructure that. Oh, look at all the froth. Oh my goodness, look at that. So good. Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. This is the best milk for frothing. Bro, it's so good. All right. Pouring the chai juice, liquid. I don't understand. Like, it's so easy to make the best chais. I don't know why I go to cafes and they serve me worse than this. Whole milk, it's very specifically a certain brand of grass-fed cow milk. It's way frothier than other milks. Okay. So I have two options. Okay. I could revert back to doing the desugaring later and adding the inserter, which is my inclination now. But that might trigger other problems and make me unhappy in other ways. Or I could bind this to something that, like an extract, that says extract value 3 from this run, which I think we even have. That might, like if I had to make a new thing for that, I wouldn't like it, but we may already have that. In which case, maybe I don't mind. Then we don't have to put a goddamn inserter. And then there's some specific code about whether we should ignore inserters for compound declarations, and we could get rid of that. Which would be nice. Promised Land milk is best. I'm not sure if I've tried that, but now that you have mentioned it, if I see it, I will give it a try. Okay. What's the frothy brand? It just says grass milk really big. Grass milk. And a big cow. There's a big cow head on it. Yeah, this is definitely becoming one of these recursive challenges. And then here's the thing about this kind of a situation, everybody. When you get into these, there's different skill levels of how you solve them. Because I could solve this multiple ways, right? Problem is, some of these ways increase the mess and the complication. And the mess and the complication is already too high. That's why we started this stream, is because I'm trying to do something to reduce the mess and complication. So if the solution involves adding mess and complication, maybe you didn't win. Maybe you just moved some of it, like the bubble under the wallpaper, from here to there. Sometimes you still can win, and you're just adding a different complication that's less bad. In this case, I just want to see, for example, if there's an extract already. Return from call, okay. Macro argument. Avoid multiple evaluate. Oh, there isn't one. We could add one here. It would be pretty straightforward. It would look exactly like this code, but it would be for a run directive instead of a procedure call. It also wouldn't have the isVariant downcasted call, I don't think. Oh, that's a complication with run directives we need to think of. Oh, dude, I forgot. I forgot we did variant downcasting. That's like a kind of a rocket science feature in this language. I forgot we did that. Is it a structured binding that you're implementing? I don't know what that means. I don't understand the question. Okay, so the appeal of doing it that way, it's more code here. We do remove some code from elsewhere. And we don't have to have inserters, and inserters are bad. And maybe it makes compound declaration simpler. Here's the thing. This might not be the only reason that we need this. Like, there might be other... Yeah. See, this is one of the cases. Pick from run directive, right? Pick from args on right. That's pretty straightforward. Assign. That, I think, isn't right. It doesn't make sense. Maybe it does. It's not going to do anything here because we don't resolve those. But that's not what we're doing. Yeah, see, we could... It's literally the same right here. Okay. I'm thinking of another reason in favor of what I want to do here. And that reason is as follows. The way it works right now, you have to wait for the run to complete before you can desugar this compound declaration. Okay? And that means, like, it takes a long time for a run to complete, right? Like, you have to build the function, you have to go off and run it. It might depend on other things. Nobody else can bind to these declarations until that happens. That said, we already kind of had a mechanism for that. Yeah, maybe it's not that much of a difference, ultimately. It is hard to know. In C++, AB equals F returns two values. I see. Oh, they added that to C++. Okay. How does F return two values in C++? You return a tuple and you destructure it. It's not exactly like that, but vaguely. It is vaguely like that. Okay. See, if I wanted to, one possible route is if I want to rewrite the way compound declarations desugar. I can copy all these changes aside, I can revert, I can go change that, make sure everything works and check it in. And then who knows, maybe there's a recursive challenge on that one. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but this is where we're at. There's two paths. One is rewrite the compound declaration things so that they expand early and don't need inserters. The other is add the frickin' inserter for compound declarations. I think my choice for now is to add the frickin' inserter. The thing is, we've made so many changes. We're so far off the reservation that I kind of want to revert anyway. Because like you could be doing something and it's right, and then just one of these random ass changes mess things up, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the source folder. We're going to copy it. Don't copy that floppy. We're going to revert to Williams. Wait. Okay, let's not revert that. Let's not revert that. Those were just like little cleanups. Okay. Oh, compound declaration has gone live. Are we still going to want that? Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, we still need that. All right. Before I revert, you know what? Let's just get all of B live into an extra buffer. All right, now we revert. Boom. I'm going to commit these other two things just to get them out of the way. Tiny tweaks. Okay, this can't commit yet. This is a change to some error messages. That one, yeah, we can't commit these. Can't commit these because these all depend on the other changes that we were doing. What's this one? Oh yeah, that's trivial. Okay, those all go. Bro, leave Brittany alone. It's actually good to have changelog conflicts because that means other people were working on the compiler, but they're still annoying. Leave Brittany alone. Yeah, C++ is so complicated now, man. It's ridiculous. Okay. We have reverted. What do we want to get back? We want to get back the thing. Okay, so first let's just make sure we compile and can run the tests. Because that was the whole point of reverting, is to get to a clean slate so that we know that if we have fails, we just introduce the fails with our changes, all right? So we're going to let this go with the debug compiler so it has chances to assert and all that. Was Stanford who said that you shouldn't say field, or was that someone else? You shouldn't say the word field. Okay, actually, these errors are fine. Because those are the ones I was talking. So some of the identifier lookup stuff involved actually being a little bit better about error messages, and we can get that back. Maybe I should have reverted that. It's just I didn't back up the tests folders and all that, so I don't exactly want it. It's fine. As long as we only get these ones. Okay. Actually, the inline with no body. We might just delete that test later. Anyway, okay, that's fine. That's as much test passing as we need. Although it's going to be annoying. Like it's... All right, no, you know what? Forget it. Forget it. We're just going to revert all that. We want it to be clean. I'll just do it again later. It's only like 2 minutes of stuff. All right. Run it back. Okay, we got our clean bill of health. Now, let's get rid of this. What were we even doing? I kind of want to go to bed now, except it's too early. Okay, we were going to add the inserter on compound declaration. Right? So there were two issues with that. One was we weren't adding the inserter in declarative scopes, and two, yeah. So we need this part here. Okay. We have here all right, and then we're going to adapt this. Okay, when we add the inserter, we're going to force it. That's not even a thing yet. But before we do that, we also need in common go lives, right? Yep. We need this bad boy here. And maybe there's even something else that I've forgotten about, but I think that's it. So add inserter. Okay. Okay. So probably something broke. That's just how this is. Oh, well, we didn't even compile. Forget it. Forget it. How? What is wrong with this compiler? Holy fuck. Okay. Be Live 430. It's not called expert. Oh, we already casted it. Great. That means this gets even smaller. We'll call it compound. Scope. Right. It's all the same things we were doing before. This is enclosing. Actually, is that the only one? Scope. Okay. I knew it. Expanding a macro, expanding a macro. Return must occur inside a procedure body. Bro, what? Okay, so the deal is we're expanding this macro. This macro is on the right-hand side of a compound declaration. Okay? I don't know why we said return must occur inside a procedure bot. I mean, obviously it's in the macro. I mean, must occur inside a procedure body. I guess we're queuing as a... Are we queuing as a compound declaration? Yep. Yep. Okay. So we're trying to find the lambda that we're inserting into here. That is really, I mean, the error message also is a thing, but all right. I mean, so I could put a case here for, is it a compound declaration? Seems kind of dumb. Seems kind of dumb. So we queued the compound. Why? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's necessary. Okay. I think we only want to queue in data scope, if I'm being honest. Okay, more problems. More money, more problems. Does this mean I have more money? Undeclared identifier in program section. Okay, I mean, fucking, it's right there, dude. Of course. So this is the whole problem we were trying to deal with. We are now seeing it. So for some reason, in imperative scopes only probably, we're not seeing... Oh, this one looks weird. Oh, that must be inside a static if. Okay, let's look at one of these just to make sure that there's no funny business. Okay, 324. Where are we? We're in handle exception. It's a function. It's not a C call, or not a macro. I don't like the looks of this code, but that's fine. It's just style that I don't like. Now, this is a very vanilla if statement. There's no funny business going on here, really, that I can see. So, for some reason, this is weird because this isn't even something like our earlier cases where like, oh, this got scheduled async to this. This isn't. This is in line with this. So like this completely failed to do its thing. Like what? What? I see chat as lively as ever. What does W errors mean? I don't know. I don't like super abbreviated. Write errors. This is happening from an exception handler. So we don't want to call into the regular print function because that is kind of complicated. So this is probably declared here. Yeah. It just calls write strings to standard error. I don't know why we have two of these. Just frickin' call words the whole time. I don't know. It is a C call. Yeah, that was me misspeaking. That was me saying the words that my brain saw. So, compound declaration has gone live. So I'm going to assume this did in fact get called for that compound declaration. So I've got a headache. I might just take a shower and go to bed. It's Sunday night. But I would like to miraculously solve this first. I don't know. Why would this not happen? Like if I didn't revert typer correctly, but I did, all this code is back, the check and desugar and all that stuff. So this all, in theory, should happen completely before we try to look up that identifier. Maybe we do. Let's try a cowabunga here. 323. I guess I lied when I said it's for new functionality. It just didn't seem like the particular case we were talking about, whenever that was, didn't seem like a cowabunga, but this does. We didn't cowabunga. Explain that. What? What? Riddle me this, Batman. What is literally happening? I am so confused. We've got no cowabunga. We've got no surfs up. How, if you've got no cowabunga, how are you going to get anywhere in life? I mean, what? What? Yeah, my problem now is I've got a headache, so I may want to take a break. We are deep in the recursive maze, but I feel like let's actually try not doing this. Just to see if that's... See, but no, because we would have got a surfs up, so that's not even the problem. Or maybe it is. Okay. That's annoying. That's annoying. Okay, I need to just nurse my headache, which is happening because of my terrible posture in this chair that I need to replace. And I just need to think about how I want to approach this now. Because, like, I am mildly troubled by this. It is like, It's so funny because this shouldn't be that hard. Like, how hard is it to turn A comma B comma C into declarations for A, B, and C? It should be trivial. It does not seem to be trivial. So again, I have at least two choices from this point. One is I could figure out why the inserter is log jamming us. I can debug that. I can say, because I don't even understand how putting an inserter from one declaration, like, is the line number even wrong? Like, oh, it's runtime support crash handler. 323. I have the wrong line number. Oh, guys, that's why we didn't get them. Okay, hold on. The reason we didn't get it is because the output... See, when I wrote the output for the compiler, I delete blank lines because I want you to see as much context relevant to the error. But then when I went to put in the line number to Cowabunga, I said, oh, this is in 324. This is one line before that. It must be 323. It's not 323. It's 322 because there's a blank line here, but we delete it. Okay, now, okay, this will be our final victory before I go deal with my headache. That final victory will be we change the 323 to 322. And we're going to see these now. And then, because I was so confused, I was like, how is that not happening? There we go. We got Surf's Up and Cowabunga ×2, one for each workspace. That's what we want to see. Okay, so now if we go back to the actual problem. Okay. Now we're going to get those, and then it's going to log jam somehow. On the inserter, so this is weird because we cowabunged. The fact that we cowabunged meant that we should have inserted these declarations, and yet this didn't find it. So this would be something I would debug further. I think what I'm going to do, like as opposed to backing out and doing a different route, because this might be something small, I don't know. So I'm going to at least take a break. I'm going to go just relax for a bit. I might come on and stream and debug this. I might debug it by myself. But this has been a gnarly, not gnarly, but I mean, we've been kind of slow and chill, but it's been 2.5 hours of not solving the overall problem, which is never that fun. But then I remember back to the old days when I would go like 4 days without solving the problem. 2.5 hours is not bad relative to that. So Cowabunga should have made these declarations and inserted them into the scope. So yeah, for some reason this isn't seeing that. There might be good reasons for that. There might not. But either way, if I can fix this, then we've removed the subquest and could go back to the main quest. This doesn't necessarily feel... Okay, just looking at this example, it doesn't feel that bad. That said, if we fix this, which looks like the same problem for all of these, maybe something else is broken that's more gnarly and makes me sad. I don't know. Okay. Headache curing, and maybe I'll be back later, maybe not. Enjoy your evening, everybody. See you later.